family and friends. We're just out here in the Dirty Kitchen area having a little dinner tonight. John's having eggs and cabbage and sausage meat and some steak, a little bit of steak there. And he never take a nap today, so he's just kind of
Grumpy.
a little bit grumpy right now, but he's having fun. We just had a short blackout for maybe 20 or 30 minutes because of all this rain. This is the rainy season in northwestern Mindanao where we live, and this has been raining. This is steady rain. Sometimes it gets a little harder, sometimes it gets a little lighter, but it's steady rain for at least 3 hours now. And this is the way pretty much it is the whole rainy season. I mean, you just get overcast days. Sometimes you just get sprinkles, but it's completely overcast. And then some days, just for weeks in a row, you'll get this steady rain, just, you know, light rain to heavy rain, but it stays pretty much steady. And already in the last 3 hours, we've gained over 1.5 inches in the pool. And within another couple hours, the pool will be overflowing into the overflow drainage. So yeah, this is pretty much what you have to get used to if you're going to live in the deep jungle, at least in southern Philippines. Like, this is Mindanao, so it's the biggest island of all the 7,000 islands of the Philippines. And there's a lot of deep jungle here in Mindanao, and it's probably one of the most least developed of all the islands, mostly because the way the political has been for ever since the independence from the U.S. of the Philippines has been, most of the presidents of the country are from Luzon, the northern island. So, and Luzon is where Manila is. So that got the majority of all the political funding that the government, because the government funds everything here in the Philippines, right? They give an allotment from the federal, from the top on down to the provinces, the municipalities, then the barangays. It's a filter down effect of, depending on what their population is, that's how much the city officials get, and that's kind of how it works here. It's all a trickle down from the top, and it's at least half. It's just like the U.S. At least half of the people that have jobs are government jobs, government or government-supported jobs. At least 50%. We were just going over some numbers here the other day, like teachers in the Philippines. It varies anywhere from the high of around 60,000 per year to a low of about 10,000 per year. So it's a pretty wide disparity, and it's the further you get out into the rural areas, the lower the amount that teachers make. And what lawyers was like the high end, because of cases that if they become a good trial lawyer, they can make a lot more, but on average it was like 70,000 per year for lawyers. And for PNP, I think they were around at 50 to 70,000 per year also. This is an average, so of course your lower ranks is going to be a lot lower than that, but like I say, it's at least 50%, and I would say it's nowadays, because we're kind of getting long in the tooth on these nation states that fund everything and support everything, and all the jobs are government jobs, and because they can print free money just whenever they want, whenever they see fit, and they rig all the markets, so they're all rigged. So how long can all this go on? Who knows? But the longer it goes, the more and more government jobs and government supported jobs that there are, and the more give outs and handouts they hand out to the people in Social Security and, you know, you name it, welfare and all kinds of giveaways and handouts of money to the population. It just keeps getting higher and higher and higher until someday the whole thing's going to collapse. And because it's based on just a bunch of fake money printing, and it's not, they don't even have to print the money anymore. If they just digital, it's just digital inputs and subtractions and additions, with a lot more additions and subtractions these days. So, I mean, it's getting so bad. And when you get money throughout the world and world governments printing this fake money that's really not backed by anything except for the promise of the government, what happens eventually is that society, social society erodes, where there's way more crime and people become so much more poor and destitute, and then the crime goes up because of that. And just the whole character of the people in general become bad character or bad actors, where there's no more kindness and charity and stuff like that. It's just, it's a disease that just keeps growing and growing like cancer, and it just keeps getting worse and worse. So that's kind of what we're faced with in this day and age. Who knows how long it'll last? You know, I would have said 20 years ago that it was going to collapse within a couple years, right? And I would have said 10 years ago that it's going to collapse within a year. Well, we're still going. The system still is going. So only God knows when the whole system's going to collapse. We're going to go into something else. So, and I don't know, I really doubt it's going to go back to gold and silver. I think it's good to have a physical, something that's valued and that's physical, that you can hold it in your hand. I think it's good to have a big amount of that, but that's not what the future system's going to be. I almost guarantee that it's going to be some kind of digitalized system. That's going to be, you know, you go into a store and they scan a barcode that's going to be tattooed onto your wrist or your hand, or it's going to be an implanted, you know, an implanted microchip in the right in here of your hand, or who knows. But it's going to be something that makes it even easier for not only the consumer, but easier for the government to track where all the money's going. Because like I say, most of the money comes from the government anyways. So if you get into that's just the next progressive evolution of what they're doing now, is just a new cryptocurrency CBDC system, you know, central bank digital currency is the CBDC. And because there's so much talk about that on the internet too. So I agree, eventually they're going to snuff out all forms of physical cash. They at some point will snuff that all out, because once they do that, there's a huge portion of the world population that's, you know, because it's a vehicle of freedom, right? If they can't track cash, an individual can hoard cash or do all kinds of things with cash and without the government knowing. But once they go to this purely digital and wipe out all physical paper cash or coinage, then it'll just be total power for the ones that are printing the money or have control of the digital money. So then you won't have any freedom. It'll be black markets, I think, will still exist probably for all time. Just from the beginning of time, from bartering to the end of time, I think bartering will continue. But the more they snuff out, if they snuff out paper cash and coinage, then the bartering will just go into a different phase too, and it'll be harder to barter than it was before. So anyways, that's kind of what a rainy day looks like here in the rainy season in Philippines when you're in a deep jungle area. And I got plenty of drainage. Any water coming out here, I got a sump pump drain right there, and that goes into a pipe down here into the lower area, and I got all kinds of drainage, as you can see, with grading over it going right there, and that water there is coming off the rooftop of the tower. So it's all drained out to the other side of the wall over there. It's a big, massive drainage system, because in this kind of country, you got to have that. So, but I'm even built on high ground. The road is the highest ground, and then everything from the road kind of slopes downward. And then there's an actual small creek. It's not a river, but there's a creek at the bottom of the valley, way off in the distance. There's a mountain ridge way up high, and then that valley goes down in there too. So there's a kind of a valley stream, and that part of the properties, some of the properties we own, the coconut plantation off to the north there, that stream that's over this way also runs across into my property over there, or actually my son's property. It's in his name. He's half Filipino, so he can own property, my wife can own property. I'm on the deed as a foreigner, but only as a spouse. And if God forbid, if something ever happened to my wife, I would have 1 year to get it into the name, all of my property into the name of my son or another Philippine national, because foreigners can't own property. They can only own it in conjunction with your Filipina wife that you're married to. So that's the laws here. So anyways, that's about it for right now. John's still eating his food, and Rosie just had her food. She's getting really old now. Maybe she only has another 6 or 8 months, and I think she's blind in one eye now, and it's really hard for her to walk. So I don't think she has much time. It'll be lucky if she's able to get probably through this rainy season. Okay, everyone take care, and God bless. Bye-bye.